Today, I'm showing you exactly where and how you can still find a detached home under $1 million in Kitchener and what it takes to actually make it yours. I know the average detached home price in Kitchener-Waterloo is way less than $1 million, roughly about $850,000. But the kind of homes I'm talking about at $1 million price point is where you can see yourself living down there, where not everything is falling in a really nice school district neighborhood, nice community. So stick around, you will find it very informative. In today's video, we will be covering what is the market overview and what trends are happening, what you can expect at $1 million price mark, your financing, your affordability, what are the neighborhoods that you can target, what to look in for this kind of properties and negotiation, and also some real life advice for all my clients out there. So the very first one, market overview. So let's check out what is the current average price for detached home in Kitchener-Waterloo area. So if you see over here, based on last 3 year report, every year it's dropping slightly. In 2023, the average detached home price were $891,000. In 2024, it's $885,000. In 2025, it's $842,000. So that is roughly slightly less than 5% decrease in terms of between 2024 and 2025. So if you see over here, the average price point is less than $850,000. But in this video, I'm making a $1 million price mark because what I'm focusing on in a good neighborhood, as I mentioned earlier, not in a rundown properties where you need to come in and fix the stuff by yourself. This is something kind of a little bit on a lifestyle product and also for a slightly bigger family where you will have at least 4 bedrooms, 3 bathroom, a decent basement, which may be finished, may not be finished, in a really nice community where you can enjoy living in rather than just putting some number on the house. And I totally understand it is very hard because especially $1 million price point is not that easy to achieve. But trust me, in this kind of community, the kind of value that you are getting when you are spending $1 million on a house, it's really worth it. Now let's see how many detached homes were sold last month in this kind of category. So just to give you an idea, there were 90 residential detached homes sold in the last month. Now this is from all my realtor website, that is our board website. So it might be a little bit up and down because there are some properties which is like a pre-construction detached homes, which is not usually listed on MLS. So that will not be focusing on over here. So right now it's 90 homes based on last month data. It could be closer to 100 homes, considering like what the actual market looks like. So if you see over here, the minimum price of detached home sold was $435,000 and the maximum was over $2 million. The average price comes at $829,000 and the median price, by the way, if you're a buyer out there, you should definitely focus on median price rather than an average price. So work with a realtor who understands this difference and can guide you what exactly you are looking for. So the median price was $780,000. Now here's a breakdown that I have done. Like out of 90 homes, how many homes were sold under 500K? How many were between 500 to $850,000, which is the average price point, and how many above average price point? So if you see out of 90 homes, two homes were sold under $500,000. Majority of the homes falls between 500 to $850,000. Out of this, you see 54 homes, that is over 60%, roughly close to 60%. And from 850 to $1 million, almost 18 homes and over $1 million 15 homes that represent roughly 17% of all the homes sold in the area. And if you're someone who's slightly familiar with Kitchener, this will really help you out. Now, this is all the hotspot where over $1 million properties sold in Kitchener. If you see, major concentration is over here, like 3 homes in Doon South, another 2 homes near Huron. The other one is in Laurential West, then Victoria Hills, and majority of portion over here as well, which is near Grand River South. Really nice area to be in. Now let's briefly talk about the kind of inventory we have in Kitchener. So right now the inventory is on a higher level. If you see this past 3 years, right now we are at 3.1 month of inventory. So what it means by that is if no new homes come in a market, it will take 3.1 month of 3.1 month for all the existing inventory to get sold. It does not happen in real life, but this is a number that can give you an idea what kind of market we are in. If this number is anywhere between 3 to 6, which this is right now at 3.1, it is considered as a balanced market, but it is close to 3. Still, it's in a seller's market position. But again, depending on kind of homes you have, I would still consider pretty much, if you consider Kitchener, we are still in, it's a buyer's market. Now, let me explain you when you are reaching to $1 million mark, what kind of homes you can expect. So you can expect a home roughly about 4 bedroom, 3 bathroom, closer to or over 2,300 square feet. If you're meeting that $1 million price point, roughly close to 22 to 2,300 square feet in a nice community where school ranking is really decent, and you will have a decent size of a backyard. Might not be a brand new home, but not an older property as well. It could be anywhere between 5 to 10 year old or even newer property in some scenarios in some neighborhoods as well. If you are someone who's looking for a bigger lot size properties, there are a couple of neighborhoods which you can target where you can have a 60, I would say almost to 50 to 60 feet lot size. Of course, the home will not be newer, but in a really nice neighborhood. If you have some money down the future, you can definitely invest back into the home to make up to the standard that you are looking for. Now, if you're someone who's looking at $1 million price point, there are three neighborhoods which I would recommend. The very first one in that one is in Doon South. Again, it's a very affluent neighborhood, bigger homes down there. And if you're someone, by the way, who's watching this video and have or been looking into the market over 3,000 square feet of homes, then Doon South might be a really nice option for you, provided you will have multiple options to choose from. So Doon South, nice neighborhood, does have a good school closer to highway, which is really nice. Decent amount of amenities. I wouldn't say it's all the amenities are down there, but all the basic amenities you will be able to find it like grocery stores. There is not a gym nearby, but yeah, grocery store is down there closer to highway. So if you're someone who is commuting to GTA once or twice a week, could be a really nice neighborhood to be in. The second one in this one is the Grand River North, which is my personal favorite. I really like that neighborhood closer to Guelph. If you're someone who's again commuting to GTA, you can get onto the highway in under 5 minutes. So that is a really nice option to be in. A really nice neighborhood in terms of all the amenities, green space, everything is available nearby. You have like roughly 5 to 7 minutes, 7 minute drive to a mall. So that is a really nice feature, close to highway, close to airport. Everything what a good family is looking for is in the neighborhood. Now let's talk about financing and affordability of this $1 million home. So if you see over here, for a $1 million home, the basic down payment you need is $75,000, and that is the minimum down payment. By the way, most of the time I would recommend my client to go between 10 to 15%. So depending on what kind of down payment you can expect over here. And again, if you're someone who's going less than 20% down payment, there is something called CMHC insurance that you have to get it. So if you see 20%, there is a $0 for CMHC insurance. But if you're someone who is paying the minimum down payment, you have to pay $37,000. And again, this is baked into your mortgage. So you don't have to come up with a upfront cash for this one. But you have to pay a CMHC insurance. So that is something. Considering 25 year of amortization, what rates I'm getting right now, it's closer to 3.79, 3.8. Now again, check with your mortgage agent, check with the bank. I really like this website. It's ratehub.ca, or you can also go on realtor.ca to check it out to see what the monthly cost would be. And if you're someone who's paying 10% down payment, that is $100,000, have a CMHC insurance, your monthly mortgage comes at $4,776 for $1 million property. So that is the basic finance. Now let's check out the affordability on this one. So very first thing in this one, in order to get $1 million home, what will be the upfront cost? Now let's see how much money you will need upfront in order to afford $1 million home. So the very first one is the down payment. I would consider 10%, so that is $100,000. The closing cost, that is the land transfer tax and lawyer fees and slightly miscellaneous stuff, which I've included in the next section. So overall, it will cost you roughly about $120,000. So that is the amount that you will need in order to purchase $1 million home. You can also go slightly lower if you're someone who's going for a minimum down payment. you can deduct roughly about 20 to $25,000 less from that one. But I would say 120 to 130 is a really nice number if you are looking for $1 million price. Now, this is something you should focus on. What is the ongoing cost in order to get $1 million home? Once you get the down payment and everything, now what will be your ongoing cost? So your ongoing cost in this one, the very first one is the mortgage. Considering a 10% down payment and 3.79% interest, your mortgage would be $4,776, property tax close to $500, insurance $150, utilities close to $500, and maintenance and repair $300. So your total cost comes to owning this particular $1 million home comes at $6,226, so closer to $6,300. Now, if you're someone who's been following me and know what kind of content I put out, now in order to afford this kind of home, the total cost is $603,000. Now, this should not cost over 35% of your overall or family income. And I'm talking about net income. So consider based on that what your net family income is, whether you are able to afford this kind of home or not, and it should not exceed 35%. But in current market, sad reality is many families are paying over 50% towards owning the home. But in order to get a good financial help or good financial education or advice, you should not cross over 35% in terms of your mortgage. Now let's talk about what to look in this kind of properties when you are actually figuring out everything you have figured out and actually go down to see that kind of properties. The very first one is condition of the property, whether the home is older or not. You need to check what are the lot size, what is the lot layout. What I mean by lot size is many times people are planning to do a duplex conversion, or in city of Kitchener, you have a 40 feet lot, you may be able to do a ADU in the backyard or basically an apartment unit in the backyard. But if your lot size does not permit, you may not be able to do it. And most of the newer homes which you are seeing right now comes with a very less of a lot size. I've seen a single detached families with a lot size, and I'm talking about brand new homes with a lot size of 27 feet as of right now. And again, day by day, it's shrinking. Uh, if you are someone who is looking for a bigger lot size, then the best option would be to go for an older property, either in Forest Height, Forest Hill, Stanley Park. Those are the really nice neighborhood where you can get this kind of property. Country Hill is also one of the neighborhood where you can get a bigger lot size. So focus on those neighborhood. And if you're someone who's looking for a newer homes, focus on Grand River South, Huron, Dune South, Williamsburg. Those are the neighborhood which will get you into a newer home category. And do consider property taxes as a line item, because many times if you're going for a newer property, the property taxes are really high, closer to $8,000 if you're going for $1 million mark point. And if you're going for a older homes, it could be closer to $6,000. So that is roughly about $2,000 to $2,500 different every year. And of course, check for utilities and the maintenance cost. If you are going for a 15 or 20-year-old home, and if everything's need to be taken care of, what I mean by that is a big ticket item like roof, furnace, AC, those kind of stuff, it could cost you upward of $30,000 to $40,000. So make sure you know what you're going into. And if you're someone who's looking for five best neighborhood in Kitchener and also five best neighborhood in Waterloo, do subscribe to my channel or go and check out this video over here. You will be able to find what are the five best neighborhood in Kitchener, and yeah, you may be able to get. Now let's talk about negotiation strategy. Now when you're working with a good realtor, they will help you out with this one. But let's say if you're stuck with someone who are not able to help you out, so make sure you see what is out there in terms of a number. So the very first thing you need to check is days on market. Let's say if you're seeing a home and it's been on a market for a while, over 50 or 60 days, make sure you go down, you negotiate hard on those kind of properties. Most of the time, there may be two scenarios. Either the price of that home is very wrong, or the expectation of the seller is very high. And the other thing is, not many people are competing on that one. In those kind of things, you can go in, get with a local offer, get with the favorable conditions what you are looking for, and maybe able to secure a deal down there. Now there are other kind of sellers out there who have purchased roughly about 3 or 4 years back at the peak of the market, and by no way they are able to come to the price or the current market value. What I mean by that is, let's say if you're planning to buy $1 million home and they have purchased 3 or 4 years back at roughly about 1.2, $1.3 million, because that's the market value at that point of time. Right now, if you know, that market has came down, and the market value of that $1.3 million home is at $1 million. Now, most of the time, it's very hard for a seller to swallow that. But if you're working with someone who is a good realtor, they will be able to guide you through this process and never overbid on a home. The other thing is importance of being patient and doing all the due diligence. What I mean by that is like inspection, checking your finances, very first thing, and then inspection. And it's also okay to to educate yourself like when to walk away. Always have a cap, like this is my cap in terms of price point. Never go anything above that. And one more thing I want to put it out over here is like if you're buying something, always have a long term perspective. If you're only buying this for 3 to 4 year or 5 year, then let's say if you're planning to buy this for 4 years and you might be thinking you will sell this house and buy into bigger one like 3,000 or 4,000 square feet later on. But you have to understand how the amortization or the mortgage table works. So what I mean by that is for the initial few years, what amount you are paying into the mortgage, majority of that is going only onto the interest portion of it, not towards the equity. So let's say if you're planning to sell it after 4 years, the way you might be thinking like you will be paying your mortgage so much fast, that does not happen because of the amortization curve. So make sure you educate yourself, familiarize yourself with this kind of stuff. So if you're someone who's tired of scrolling listing and second guessing on all this kind of properties, reach out to me. I'll be happy to help you out. You can book a call with me, link in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one.